Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Booyah! And it's time for the Game Sports Show. It is yours truly, David McCaig. It is September the 6th, 2018, and we are live on location from Northern Superior Brewing Company, and we are kicking off our 2018-2019 season officially here at Northern Superior Brewing Company, and it is a great time as always here at Northern Superior Brewery. We had some guests come in and try some of the beer here that Northern has, and they have a lot of good beer that you can try, and pretty soon they're going to have a beer that you can try called the Game Blonde Ale. It's going to be launched on September the 30th. It's definitely something you want to try, and we're going to give more information about that as the month of September goes on. We have an action-packed show, as always, here tonight at Northern Superior Brewing Company. As it's going to be myself and Justin Hykel here for you, being the host this evening. We have special guest Ryan Lawrence from the Sioux Thunderbirds coming on, defenseman that was just named the assistant captain of the Sioux Thunderbirds. And the Sioux Thunderbirds kicking off their NOJHL season tomorrow night, which is Friday, September the 7th, at the John Rhodes Community Center against their border rival, Soo Eagles, and they also play against Rayside, the Canadians, in Chelmsford at 6:30 on Sunday, September the 9th. So make sure you come out and support your Sioux Thunderbirds, especially in their home opener, which is tomorrow night against the Sioux Eagles. Definitely be a big game, definitely an exciting and intense game that they're going to be a part of. But that will be on the next part of this segment, where after commercial, where we will bring in Ryan. Just in that, we're going to get through the usual introduction portion here before we bring Ryan in after the commercial break, obviously. And obviously, being here at Northern Superior Brewing Company, we are going to be here every Thursday now. That is, every Thursday will be at 7:30 is the projected time that we're going to be here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. Make sure you keep an eye on our ticker with our Monday show or Wednesday show. Monday be at the Wicked Sister, Wednesday at Sports Center Bar and Grill, to maybe check in to see if there's any time changes. But make sure you mark into your calendar that the Game Sports Show will be live on location at Northern Superior Brewing Company on Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. And with that, we're going to be talking about our usual agenda that we've been doing our Thursday show. It's going to be continuing from our Boston Pizza show that was closed in about the end of July, and now we're continuing it here at Northern Superior Brewing Company that was brought on as a main partner of the Game Sports Show here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. We're going to be working closely with the Sioux Thunderbirds and also going to be working closely with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds from the local hockey perspective and the minor midget Thunderbird program as well, along with other additional hockey programs in town. And then obviously we'll be talking about professional hockey as the NHL season puck drop gets to come into in October, and we'll also continue to talk about the baseball end with news and updates, and as the playoffs comes around the corner, and even some golf news as well. So that is every Thursday at 7:30. We'll be here at Northern Superior Brewing Company with myself, Justin Hykel, Brad Cotramilio, and Dane Hancho. Dane Hancho will be home October the 7th, and he'll be living with yours truly, actually. So we'll have the four of us here doing the Game Sports Show from Northern Superior Brewing Company. And like I said, make sure that you get a taste of the Game Blonde Ale when it releases onto the public September the 30th. You're listening to the Game Sports Show on www.thegamesportshow.com or on our Podbean page, which is thegamesportshow.podbean.com. And make sure you follow us on the Podbean page to make sure you get updates for when the game show is uploaded, because we have a lot of shows that go on throughout the week, and you want to make sure you keep in touch with the Sioux's only local, regional, and national sports show, which on Mondays myself, Scott Nason, Butch Davis, and EJ Russell, and also Katie Woolen from Eagle 95.1 will be doing the show from 6 p.m. until 8. The first hour will be on air on Eagle 95.1, the first hour being podcasted, and that will be Mondays at the Wicked Sister. Wednesdays, every Wednesday, we do our Known in the Pocket segment, along with basketball and variety of sports with a roundtable discussion where it's myself, Jamie Antonello, Dustin Grondin, also Matt Primo, and at times Justin Hykel as well that comes on board, and Dane Hancho to talk our In the Pocket segment, basketball and roundtable discussion. Will be at Sports Center every Wednesday at 9 p.m. and make sure you keep an eye on the tickers for those projected time changes as well. But Now after that, Wednesday, that show, we had our first show there of the season last night, which is now our year-round in the Pocket segment, because in the summer we do the Sabercats and Steelers coverage, but now with NFL season getting underway tonight, actually, with the Falcons and the Eagles starting the NFL season, we'll have the NFL now brought into with weekly and game recap on our in the Pocket segment there. Then obviously Thursdays being here at the Brewing Company, as I mentioned. People asking about the Silver Creek edition of the shows. Silver Creek Golf Course, we will be doing a couple more shows this month before we kind of veer off from Silver Creek Golf Course until next summer, where we will be back at Silver Creek Golf Course doing our special summer editions of the Game Sports Show at Silver Creek Golf Course. So the Silver Creek is still obviously a part of the family here of the Game Sports Show. So jumping into that right now, I want to bring in somebody that was with me last night at Sports Center Bar and Grill. Before we jump into thanking our sponsors and thanking the listeners, Justin Hykel, while he gets ready here to enjoy some Northern Superior Brewing 11 p.m. delicious beer right now. Justin, how you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm here. I'm awake after our late night last night.
Yes, definitely a late broadcast last night.
We were a little chatty last night.
Definitely. It was a special 2-hour edition last night, but it was our launch show. Usually our launch show there at Sports Center, we have a lot of football that we discuss. More here on the Thursday show, we have time constraints that we have to follow more, so based on producer ghosts and our directors being down our necks a little bit more here especially, but definitely a great show to make sure you check out and just follow the Game Sports Show in general. And if you're listening to us on the website, veer over to the merchandise tab, purchase a shirt, $25. Proceeds go towards Northern Careers Need and Big Brother, Big Sister. Now, Justin, before we continue on here, I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsors, Sports Center Bar and Grill, Silver Creek Golf Course, Discover the Canvas, The Salon, Super U Pro Shop, Big Brother, Big Sister, Northern Critters in Need, North Shore Sports and Auto, KBX Hockey, Northern Sides, the Sioux Thunderbirds as well, being a partnership there. More or less, our sponsorship is more of a partnership, and the Sioux Greyhounds, a little bit of work there as well. Give the Greyhounds a shout out. Also to the Wicked Sister and to Pingator Cleaners. Then obviously another home to the Game Sports Show, as we are located right now, Northern Superior Brewing Company. If you want to follow the Game Sports Show more, you go to the Instagram page that is still fresh, and it's going to be launched more, and make sure you follow the Instagram page at the Game Sports Show SSM. We'll be launching prizes on there. There'll be a lot of special events going on there, and we also plan to be doing a hockey pool this year that will be ready to get your pool made by the end of September, and you'll have the chance to win prizes courtesy of the Game Sports Show. Now, Justin, before we kind of just go with what the agenda is going to be tonight, before we go to break, one thing that I wanted to say, especially that we can very proud to announce as well here, there's always a lot going on. We're going to be doing a lot of pregame and postgame coverage of the Sioux Thunderbirds this year, and that'll be where we'll be doing a lot of coverage at Icebreakers. Now, with Icebreakers, that is going to be opening up, and the plan is to be around the end of October, I believe. And obviously, being at the John Rhodes Community Center where the home of the Thunderbirds play, we're going to be planning on doing some pre-game and post-game coverage of the Sioux Thunderbirds. And we also plan to do the same with the Sault Ste Marie Greyhounds work, as we work closely with both organizations. But obviously, with the Thunderbirds, we're going to be there at a lot of games this year, doing a lot of coverage for players. I'm very excited to bring in some of these players as guests, and we have a very good guest that is coming by here tonight with Ryan Lawrence, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it should be a pretty exciting day for him still. I mean, as far as I know, the letter on his jersey is pretty fresh. So
yes, the letter's fresh.
We can chat him up a little bit about that and get his take, see how he's relishing the A today. Yeah,
I bet you he's very excited. That A, you can still feel the heat coming off it with the jersey, as he was announced the assistant captain just yesterday, as Trevor Zachary told me through text message yesterday, as he notified me that he was going to be the guest. Very excited to have Ryan come by. I want to give a shout out to Blake Winter and the staff here at Northern Superior Brewing Company for their great hospitality, as always, as they've been treating us, and definitely with the hard work of getting that beer launched for us by the end of September. It's going to be very exciting. And as I said, it will be available to the public, and with the purchase of the beer, yes, you help the brewing company, but you'll also be helping the Game Sports Show, as we plan to have our own recording studio by the end of 2019, and the proceeds of the beer sales will be going towards both charity and also towards our account to have our fund towards getting our business launched by the end of 2019 with our own recording studio that we plan to use not only for our show, but for other podcasters, broadcasters, students, singers in town that plan to use that as a career as a recording studio, and also for educational purposes, as we plan to partner up with Algoma University as well with that. Now, before we go to break, I'm going to state what the agenda is obviously going to be here tonight. We're obviously bringing in Ryan Lawrence of the Sioux Thunderbirds after our first break. But then after that break, after we let Ryan go, when we come back, myself and Justin will be discussing the world of the National Hockey League with some updates there as the season is getting closer and closer. I can't believe how fast summer went by as the NHL season nears, and we'll also be talking about the Josh Donaldson Blue Jays kind of news, a little bit of the MLB front before we conclude tonight's show. And now we're just going to get ready to go to break. As we know, Ryan Lawrence is here. He's ready, he's anxious and excited to get on the show here. So we're going to hear from our sponsors, and when we come back, Ryan Lawrence will be coming on the Game Sports Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsoo.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Sioux Pee Wee Pro Shop. The Sioux Pee Wee Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Sioux Pee Wee Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Sioux Pee Wee Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, alongside Justin Hykel. And we're bringing in a very special guest, the first official 2018-2019 season guest from the Sioux Thunderbirds, defenseman Ryan Lawrence, whom was actually announced the assistant captain yesterday. That's what GM Trevor Zachary notified me to make sure I opened with. So you want me to throw you right on the spot right away. Ryan, before we get into that, I want you to welcome you to the show. I know you are probably kind of new from being from DeWitt, Michigan, in terms of knowing what the Game Sports Show is. But we're going to get to know each other pretty well this year. And I'm very glad that you took the time to come on and talk to myself, Justin, and the Game Sports Show.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. It is true, I was announced assistant captain the other day, and it was pretty surprising for me, honestly, considering I'm not from here and I don't really know a whole lot of people here. But very grateful for the opportunity of being able to lead the team in this coming season, and I'm excited to see what we can do.
It's going to be a very exciting year for the Thunderbirds, I believe. You know, the border battle gets started tomorrow. Actually, you have a big weekend right off the hop with the Eagles, going to the John Rhodes Community Center. We're going to get to in just a few moments. Then you're in Rayside on Sunday. Sudbury, another team that you had some run-ins. I like to say last year, a couple especially. I know there was a player, I believe it was Rayside, that injured one of your players last year. Who was it last year? That got hurt last year. So made the hits.
Cressy injured Baber.
Yeah, Baber. That's right. So there's a lot of bad blood there. So I'm sure you're excited though. It's been probably a long off season, especially if you don't win. I always felt that if you don't win last year, you come back more motivated, especially yourself being a 20-year-old. In your last year, you want to win this year, and there's obviously being a part of the Thunderbirds is a great organization to be a part of to win.
Yes.
But this weekend, just obviously starting against the Eagles, that explains itself how intense that game's going to be.
Yeah.
Then the bad blood between Rayside. It's just going to be a competitive weekend for the Thunderbirds.
For sure. It's going to be very exciting, especially hopefully with it being the opening weekend. Get a lot of fans there, get a good crowd. That'll get everybody motivated even more. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any big penalties that are being taken. Those, depending on the game and depending on the mood everybody's in, things can get out of hand. But hopefully we get it, or we keep it together, and we should hopefully come out on top, especially with going into this season and everything that our coach has been talking about with raising the bar and setting our standards even higher than we were last year. It'll be exciting to see what the outcome is.
Absolutely, and it's kind of the big thing. You coming in from the United States to come play here has always been a big thing that's attractive to me with the NOJHL, and having players from all around come play junior hockey up here, especially in Sault Ste Marie. And you to come back and finish your final year here with the Thunderbirds just explains it in yourself. Where your plans, I'm sure you want to go beyond the NOJHL after this year, that we'll get to in a few moments as well. But to come back and play with the guys that you have, the expectation of the Thunderbirds is always, it seems, to be win or bust. It's kind of always what it seems to be, which must excite you to be a part of this organization.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reason I came back for playing my last year is because I just enjoyed, last year, the entire season, worked with a great group of guys, the staff, the coaches, everybody. I couldn't have been happier with the people I was playing next to last year. And, as big of hockey as, or as important as hockey is in my life, it's the people that are associated with the game. They're the reasons that I play. And so it's a nice community, and it's a big motivator for me to come back, and I'm excited and proud to play my last season here for this team.
Especially as an assistant captain, definitely an honor role. A lot of great people have worn letters on that organization. Justin, I won't hog the mic too much. I know I'm usually a pretty big hog. I'll let you ask Ryan a question here.
Yeah, so I guess it's no pressure we're in the A this year at all, but I'm going to go a little off the board as far as my question goes. So we'll do warm up the environment here.
Like that. We'll let that happen.
We got the ticker going across here. So who are you taking tonight? You an Eagles guy? You a Falcons guy?
Football guy.
Or who are you looking for?
Football answer. Are you
looking
are you an NFL guy at all?
A little bit. I'm watching here and there. I'd have to say Eagles for whatever reason. For whatever reason, I've always liked the Eagles. A lot of it, I think, goes back to one of the movies that I watched. It has
Mark Wahlberg.
Correct.
Invincible.
Yep,
Yeah. Good.
Invincible.
Invincible. That's right. That is a good flick.
Yeah. I don't know. Ever since seeing that movie, I've always been a fan. Unfortunately, I would like to be a fan of the Lions, considering they're my home state team. But I'd say Eagles definitely be above them too. So
I like the looseness, Justin. Keeping it loose with the hockey and going with the football. I get that. I like that. And we'll ask you more personal questions when we get to the end of the segment. I know I love doing that with guests. It gets more fun as we go. But really, at the end of the day, you being from out of town, do your parents they come up to watch a lot? Do they? I think DeWitt is within a reasonable distance to here, is it not?
Yeah,
like 3, 4, 5.
It's about 5 hours.
5.
Away. Yeah.
Depending
on how fast you drive,
Oh yeah, it depends. The speed limit's a little bit higher in the States than it is here in Canada. So
for sure.
Highways are nicer too.
Yeah. They must. Did they make the trips down often to watch you play, or?
My mom, unfortunately, she lives out of the country, so she can't make it to everything. She probably last year she made it to roughly 3-4 games, which still, I mean, being out of the country is still good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty thankful for that. But then my dad, he makes it up more often. Especially this year, considering he's got more time on his hands with his job and whatnot. He should be up for, I would imagine, probably 9-10 weekends.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I'm excited for him to come up and watch.
That's the big thing, especially with you. I don't know how long you've been away from home, if there was times in terms of school and all that. It's much different. I've always played, especially with individuals from the United States, I always found they were more independent, to be honest, than Canadians. I'm flat out telling them that. It seems like you guys are a lot more independent because you're having that, hockey, a lot of different opportunities to go different places where different. Exactly. So how about the comfortability of moving from home to here? Was it an easy transition for you to be able to do that? Or was it difficult last year coming here to play for the Sault Thunderbirds?
Last year, I'd say it was a little more difficult than this year, obviously, because now I have a year under my belt. I know where I'm going. I know the Sioux. I know the people here. But last year was still surprisingly almost effortless because the family I moved in with, they were very welcoming. They did countless things for me. They treated me as if I was their own. And so I couldn't ask them for any more. But then this year, I'm actually living with people that are roughly my age. And so it's nice because we all get along. They're great friends. I met them last year while I was up here, and I've got no complaints. They've been the easiest roommates to live with, and I've got all the freedom I need, but yet they hold me accountable for doing chores and stuff like that. So, it's a home away from home for sure.
No, and definitely with coming here to Sault Ste. Marie, I feel like the Thunderbird organization has been very welcoming to the imports that they bring in. I know your goaltender that you signed is from Wisconsin as well, I believe, as what Trevor was saying. So you have some imports on the team, which also must make it a little bit easier as well. If you come in and, for example, if you were the only Canadian on an American team or the only American on a Canadian team, I'm sure you'd be all treated equal. That's what the thing is. But it's probably a bit more comfortable going to a locker room with some of your fellow countrymen as well. So it's and definitely being a border town with Sault, Michigan, you're able to go over there and definitely play against the United States per se. So
best of both worlds.
Well, it is. And when people look at Sault Ste. Marie and kind of think of it, it was known as a little hockey town back when I was younger. It seems that people thought it drifted away a little bit, but credit to guys like Trevor and the Sault Thunderbirds organization to bring in players and to help develop that hockey program here. And speaking of a program of sorts, I like asking players and guests this. You coming on this year, the expectations are to play beyond this year. Right, I'm sure, or do you plan that this might be your last year in your continuing education? Maybe I should ask you that first.
Actually, there's two different paths I've been thinking about a lot the last 2 years, and I still have yet to make a decision. But I'm starting to lean towards the military.
Oh, awesome!
More than hockey and going to university or anything like that, because it's part of my family. It's always been an interest for me. I think I'm ready to start something new, start a new chapter in my life, and I love hockey unconditionally. I could play it forever, but then again, I also want to experience new things. So
good for you.
I haven't.
Yeah, good for you. That's awesome.
It's definitely you ask most people, I feel like, that are in my position, and it's usually they want to move on to university, play for Division 3 or Division 1, whatever they can, and keep continuing with the sport. But I've thought about it, and I don't know why, but it seems like my mind keeps drifting more and more towards join the military. So
you got to pursue your passions.
Yeah.
So now I believe in hockey being a team sport, and I'm a fan of using we as an example. So you should never really point yourself as an I, but I'm going to make yourself talk about yourself right now in terms of your expectations this year for yourself. I know you want the ultimate goal is to win the championship with your boys. T-Bot, I don't know if you're familiar with that. You are familiar. I like that. Okay, so familiar with it. I told Trevor to start putting it on T-shirts.
They actually had it on the warm-ups a couple years ago, I think.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. That's still a thing, man. That's a good thing. But your expectations yourself, just you can talk about statistically, most penalty minutes in the league, if that's what you want. I'm sure coach would like to hear that.
I'm no goon or anything. But Personally, for me, I mean, obviously, every kid would like to get more points, more assists, more goals. But because my coach and staff and everybody has looked at me as a leader and wants me to fill a leadership role, all I really want to do is get the kids on the team to trust me and to build a bond with them that's unbreakable, because I feel like that's what will bring us to great success in the end. It doesn't matter about the points that I make, it's about the team as a whole. So if I can get the other guys to get even more points than what I get, that's more success for us, and that would make me a proud captain. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And Justin, I'm sure you can attest to this, I'll chime you in on this, is that when you're a good leader, you not only respect it, you have the trust of players, as you just mentioned, that he wants to gain, and it also makes everyone feel more comfortable in the locker room. Coming into maybe an environment they're not familiar with. I know returning guys, there's a good amount of guys that are returning, but it's just a whole locker room from that perspective. Everyone gels, the chemistry built, and when you have that chemistry in that locker room, it translates to the ice, and then when it translates to the ice, it translates to wins.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think Justin, you could attest to that.
It's just that trust and essentially the brotherhood it boils down to, where you just don't want to let each other down. And that's no matter what team sport you play. I played football my entire life, and it's a bigger team, and so
now you're a professional armchair hockey.
Yeah, I'm a professional fantasy football general manager and NHL player on Xbox.
Yeah, on Xbox.
But in all seriousness, everything you've said in probably the last 10 minutes has made me understand exactly why you're wearing a letter this year.
Yeah.
It's some pretty selfless stuff right there.
It is, and I like referring to it's definitely a tragedy that makes you think a lot of things with the Humboldt Broncos, yes. Right? It's what happened last year, and what the brotherhood that you have. I remember when that happened, I thought about all the players that I played with. Yeah. I had some teammates that did pass away recently. You think of that brotherhood that you have, and you never lose that in the locker room. You're right. You gain the friends, and you just grow as a person that way.
Absolutely, and it all comes from within the locker room and outside of it too. It's not just the games you're playing. It's not just the practices you guys are doing with each other. It's when you're off the ice, when you're at your homes, you're inviting everybody over. You're playing, Fortnite together.
Fortnite. Oh, I can't believe how much that caught on that game. My God.
I was going to ask. I was going to say, what's the game in your house? Right?
It's definitely Fortnite.
Oh, for sure.
Probably competitiveness is probably off the charts with that game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's just those kinds of things. And we'll play basketball, we do other sports together, and that's what ends up creating our bonds. Not just the, because that's the stuff that carries over into the games. Like when you see your buddy getting injured or somebody cheap shots, and that's when everybody wants to come together.
We know that happened last year. Can't talk about that too much, but beat what's that saying? Can't beat a don't beat. What's that saying? Justin, help me out. Can't beat an old stick on something old, or what's that saying I'm trying to say? Beat a dead horse. Thank you, and I'm keeping that. Don't beat a dead stick. It's definitely an old topic, but that's an example that we'll use here. You feel that bond together in the growth, right? Yep. And translating from that now, or transitioning is the right term. Now you got me all fiddled trying to make sure I say the right analogies. I get the term right. With the Eagles, I know your coaching staff, the guys on your staff, with having Coach Panko, or Coach Parko, with the Zanel, with the Kovacs, and having Trev at the helm as your GM, and just the staff in general. I know you guys probably going to each game, possibly reviewing game tape. I know Kovacs was big with that before when he was with the organization. When he was there before, it wasn't a big thing, but it was new to the hockey programs at that time. And I'm not chirping Zoltan there or anything like that. I'm just saying, he's been around the game a long time, so you got a respectable coaching staff that knows what they're doing. And going into the game against the Eagles, and even against Rayside, has that video been shown about from last year, or plays, or kind of things? Has it been strategic, or has it just been business as usual? Just went up to the rink and just practicing systems and just getting to know the guys and getting ready?
Well, coming off of last year, playing the Eagles and whatnot, our coach, he always wants to set a tone for the next year, and he always wants to, if there's a message that needs to be sent, he wants to try to send it early on, and not have it peter out, or wait until the last minute when it's too late to try to get these people to understand who they're playing against. Everything that he's been showing in the locker room so far, though, it's all been strategic. It's all been new systems, trying to get the guys to understand how we play as a team, not so much the other teams yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure down the road he'll show footage of how they play and what their systems are, and even before the game tomorrow, I'm sure he'll show us how they played last year, and hoping that they'll be playing the same way, but we really don't know with the Eagles yet because they have a new coach, new staff.
Yep. Coach Doug LaPrade, a friend of mine, actually, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yes, good hockey player. They played for Lake State.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm sure you know, obviously, the history of Lake State there, but definitely good coach staff there, but continue. Cut you off there.
But, no, you're good. But, yeah, so it's there's a lot of unanswered questions so far as to the styles that other teams are going to be playing based off of the new rules and how strict this league is going to be with, with roughness this year and whatnot, because we've already seen the first preseason games. The penalties they're gonna be handed out like crazy.
Special teams is going to have a lot of minutes this year, it seems like.
Yep. So we just he's been emphasizing that we have to stay disciplined and stick to our game plan and just trust that our system is what's going to bring us on top. And
it's the coaching staff that also have to watch their mouths now. You know, you get they've always had to, don't get me wrong, but I mean that if there's like fines are dished out now because that's part of the rules too, because of this change and just the content. The game, and you don't have to comment on this, Ryan, because you're playing in it, but I'll just say from perspective that the game has changed so much from, I like to say when I played a lot, but even before that, how the game has evolved, even to 2 years ago, how the game has absolutely changed in terms of rules and everything like that. Strictly now, it's not, when you see a two-way player or a goon, that's a rarity.
Yeah.
Well, you see guys that can play both ends of the puck, right? You can defensively and offensively, but those guys that are pure grinders in the corners, that's not a dying art, but it's kind of veering off, and those are the lower of the depth chart kind of guys. The guys that really succeed are the guys that are pure speed and just have that open ice, and now not having this contact, it allows them to use that talent. And you being a defenseman, and you can touch on this actually, you can't hook a certain way, you can't body check or interfere a certain way or nothing like that. You got to really, it makes the player have to think more on the spot, which kind of makes me not a big fan of these new rules coming in, because I'd like to see a nice big hit.
Everybody does.
I would love that. I would love to see. I'm a big fan of hip checks. Yep. I'm not a fan of hitting from behind. I'm not a fan of head checks. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of that. But nice big clean body check. That's hockey. That's what old.
You're not going out there to kill people.
No. But what about you as a defenseman nowadays, and you being even 20, a more senior guy on the ice? How do you fit with those adjustments now and how the game keeps changing? Not even every 5 years; it's every year it's changing.
Yeah. No, as different as the game has become, it pushes everybody to new limits. With the speed being a big part of the game now, because it's kind of drifting away from the whole physical aspect. While there is still some physicality that's in it, it's becoming a faster paced game, and like you said, a more skill game, at least from the way I see it as well.
Yep.
And so it's, but the coaching and the training and everything is evolving as well. Yep. And so it's not just specific players that are have these talents and are moving on, because people or trainers are emphasizing on them as well, and so now everybody's getting in this movement, and everybody's trying to improve their stick handling and improving their speed, and so it's everybody changing as a whole. It's not just certain players that are just going to take over the game.
No,
but so it's frustrating because it's also difficult, when you want to throw a big hit in there, but you know that maybe because there hasn't been one in a long time, like, you could get called for it. And
the refs don't want to keep their hands in their pockets too long, or their hands on their sides, or whatever.
So it's especially with it being juniors, there's definitely varying sizes of players, and so certain players can beat up on others if they really want to, but
some are more noticed than others.
Yes, exactly.
It's Dave McCaig alongside Justin Hykel and special guest Ryan Lawrence from the Sioux Thunderbirds, defenseman and new assistant captain. Just a couple more minutes here. We're not going to get to the fun personal questions yet. I know I told you to wait. A couple more things I kind of want to bring up is kind of sticking with that training regimen that you actually kind of alluded to there. Listener, friend of mine, Colin Miller, plays for Las Vegas, and a lot of different NHLers that we've had on. And Paul Maurice even said that how the training regimens have just, not only the game has evolved, but the training regimens as well, right? We have has some guys that play hockey until they're June. Even in junior, I believe you guys play till the end of April sometimes, depending on the dud and the RBC and all that fun stuff. So you only get 3 months off, essentially, if you're playing junior. If you're playing in the NHL, the most you're getting, or the least you're getting off is about 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, for you now, put in perspective, the training, how do you train? Do you do a lot of training when you're back home, or is it more like some other pro hockey players do where they're on the boat? Really, they're not skating much at all.
And in all honesty, this last off season, I trained hands down the least I've ever trained in my entire life, and that's because just recently I've been trying to balance my life a lot more with not only hockey but socializing with my friends back at home.
Yes.
And
Which is awesome.
Trying to catch up with people.
Yeah.
But because I've always prioritized hockey basically over everything.
Yep.
And I'm thankful for it because it's got me to where I am.
Yeah.
If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have worked as hard as I did in the past, and so I wouldn't even be playing for the Thunderbirds most likely.
Yeah.
But years prior, I was triple rostering during spring season. I was playing for the high school team and 2 travel teams. I was
just killing yourself.
I was grinding away.
Literally.
And then when I wasn't at the ice rink, I was stick handling at home. Watching like Pavel Barber videos.
Wow.
I don't know if you know who he is. He's very popular on Instagram. He
Social media.
Instagram.
Yep. Heard of him.
He shows countless stick handling videos, and so I've got my net set up at home. I go ahead and shoot pucks all the time.
Yeah.
But like I said, this last summer I've been trying to reconnect with past friends from past hockey teams, just trying to keep all the important people in my life closer before I make this big change with whether it's the military or whether it's going off to school somewhere else. So because for me the relationships are what's going to matter in the end versus the sport.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. See, I have mad respect.
I'm completely blown away.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot of guys in your age bracket that
see it on a different perspective, which is fine.
Well, it is. It's totally fine, but they don't have the perspective. That's
very mature for your age. Let's say that.
A lot of people have a one-track mind.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
We've seen it.
Witnessed it. Everyone's done it.
You've got buddies, and I've got buddies with
Yep.
mutual friends.
Yeah.
That lived the hockey life from elementary school all the way through high school. They were going to make the NHL, and they hit 21, and all of a sudden,
What am I going to do with my life?
you haven't gone to college,
You haven't done any education.
High school, the shit that's had. You didn't
Yeah.
even grade 10 history.
There's the free swear of the night. There it is.
But really though, and there's a lot of guys that end up not knowing what they're doing and being mid-20s, and it's not that the sport's turned its back on you, but given the
After you've played how far you can play,
it's
time to think of reality.
emphasis
right?
on mental health and stuff too.
that's
It's
a big
people, you're kind of left hanging.
Yep.
Because you do see, a lot of your boys go on and succeed.
Yep.
Some of your buddies go on, they get jobs, and they're just normal dudes. And then, you're left to sit there and figure, are you going to grow up? Or are you going to do this? And some people don't. Some people, they're stuck.
it's
and
funny
you're not on
because-
that perspective. You got it together, kid.
Oh, it's fascinating. I got a lot of respect for you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He's I'm going to ask for your number after.
Maybe we'll get you on my Fortnite.
We'll get to the Fortnite too.
It is pretty funny though, because my family kind of had the same concerns with that. This being my last year, I'm 20 years old and I'm still playing hockey. I'm not. I'm taking classes. I'm not taking a ton of classes, and so they're kind of left wondering, because nobody in my family has played hockey before me, and so they're all wondering where I'm at, what I'm doing, why am I 20 years old and still playing a sport that I should have gave up 2 years ago as soon as I was done with high school and moved on and going to college or something.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I guess, like you said, I like to think I have a different way of thinking, and the reason I came back here this year, even if my goal isn't to play hockey after this year, the reason I came back for my 20th year is because of the people here. It's not even because of the sport. I didn't come back here to play
Something
hockey.
you enjoy. It's something you look forward to.
Yeah.
Right? And just that Like that's amazing. That's you still have the you still have the love for the game. Because if you didn't have the love for the game, you wouldn't be here. Because if you wouldn't have the passion, but you have the love for the game and just the love for your team, which is just a double whammy. And now to win a championship would just be together would just be the ultimate for you, right?
Exactly, and might as well end on a high if that's the case.
Yeah, there you go.
Jerome Bettis treatment.
Retire on top.
Yeah.
Retire on top. So now, before we get to the personal, funny questions I like to ask, kind of alluded to it at the beginning, but what can the fans, listeners, who's tuning into the show, and people that go to Thunderbird games, if it's here, out of town, whatever it may be, what can they expect from you, and what can they expect from the Thunderbirds on the ice?
I mean,
Put you on the spot with that one.
This is gonna sound bad because it's gonna sound generic, but like.
That's fine, kid. You've been awesome. So.
It's all right.
I mean, you can expect us to give our 100% effort whenever we're on the ice, because it seems to me that Trev and the staff and the coaches, they always seem to find players that no matter how they play, no matter what their style is, they love the game, they care about it with their whole heart, and so you'll see nothing less than 100% from every single kid that's on the ice.
Yeah.
And other than that, there's still a lot of kids on the team that I don't know yet, and so there's a lot about this team that I have yet to figure out, and so
Couple road trips together will
exactly.
definitely help. That'll put some young blood on the TV, or maybe some goon.
Yeah, maybe.
And getting to that, and go to your personal questions now.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna jump right into that. And we extended our minute and stay here because you're an awesome speaker. You did a great job, so I made sure. On the trips, what's your movie that you want the boys to play?
What's my movie that I want?
What's your number one movie? I would love for you to say Don Cherry or Rock'em Sock'em. I'd probably leave. You'd restore all faith in humanity. You've said that, but
number one movie, I'd say for the boys as a whole, it's not my number one movie, but because it's every hockey player's seen it. That's my age, and everybody can bond over it. Everybody can make laughs about it. Would be Goon.
Oh yeah, I've seen Goon. Yeah, like a good choice. I like that.
Yep.
Justin, your question? Your funny personal question? We're going to ask a couple. We're going to go back and forth here for a little bit.
I went to university in the States for a while, so I kind of get the different country deal. I mean, I only went to Lake State, so I bounced back and forth, but I made a lot of buddies that lived downstate.
Okay.
And so you go to, I don't want to say bigger, cooler schools, but you go to bigger schools for college football Saturday, and you experience some of the stuff downstate or in even different states. North Carolina was a disaster. Wouldn't recommend it. But what's one thing that you miss, being here? What's one thing that just drives you crazy that you can't have?
Oh, okay.
I've never really thought about it like that, because I've always thought about I don't know. I've always thought about the stuff that I enjoy
American fast food
versus back there.
Yeah, I guess it's you turn the TV on, you just want to chill and you can't watch. You don't have a channel.
Not really. I do. I guess there is a couple things about the Soo that I would say I wish the Soo had, because I come from a pretty
Bigger area.
Yeah, bigger area.
Yeah.
Because I live right around Lansing. Bigger population, and a lot more going on there.
Yeah.
So I'd say, there's definitely stuff to do around the city, and I kind of feel like the Soo, other than hockey and hanging out with my friends and stuff, there's definitely times when I wish there was more to do here in the city as well.
That's an answer that's pretty popular.
That's like an age-old. On the scrolls.
Yeah, because back at home, we have District 5, which is, I don't know if you've ever heard of, I forget the name of the trampoline place. But basically, it's a giant trampoline warehouse. It's something that you can do.
What is this? No, I never heard of this. Okay. All right.
Well, it's.
Talk about it. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of the one that's more popular. I can't think of the name right now. Sky Zone. That's what it's called. So, a lot of people know what Sky Zone is back in the States, and I don't know if you guys have it up here in Canada.
It's in Vaughan, Kitchener, and Ottawa here in Canada, but originated from the United States.
But yeah, so it's just it's 10 o'clock at night, you're still awake, there's not a whole lot to do. You can go there, jump on trampolines, jump in foam pits, do whatever you want.
Freestyle jump, sky slam, ultimate dodgeball,
foam
zone, ultimate dodgeball.
Man, I'd end up being like that guy at the gym that never leaves. I'd just be there.
Is there skydiving too? Is that no? That's not skydiving. That's foam zone. Sorry, I thought it said skydiving for a minute. I was like, holy crap, this place is the thing.
That's fascinating.
That is. So there's your answer, Justin. That's your answer.
See, when I was in the States, I was mad that I didn't have Harvey's.
Okay. They have so much better fast food though.
But when you go like anything in the States, like I don't know, like there's way better burger places. But when I'm driving through the States, I always stop at Culver's. There is something about getting just a cup holder full of deep fried cheese curds and giving it on the highway again. It makes me happy inside.
If you enjoy Culver's, you gotta check out. I don't know. Have you guys ever had Chick-fil-A?
No.
That's
Popeye's chicken.
I think it's hands down the best fast food restaurant I've ever
Even
been
more
to.
than McDonald's?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Chick-fil-A is amazing.
It's like my only experience with Chick-fil-A is the Chick-fil-A bowl around Christmas time, New Year's, when it's on TV during bowl season.
Oh, is that okay?
But that's it. That's all. That's like the only exposure here.
A lot of learning curves going on here. We don't have any of those kind of fun areas here in the Soo. No offense to Sault Ste Marie. Good chat. Okay, getting back to the questions, Ryan. We're still doing a sports show here. So in terms of continuing with the personal questions, if I pulled out your Spotify, your iPod, I'm not sure what anyone had. I know iPod's not a thing really anymore. Apparently, I was put into check. It's still the same iPhone. It's on the phone. It is on the outs. I got told that by my niece. She's 5. Uncle Dave, there's no iPods. We have tablets or Spotify. I'm like, who are you? Like, who are you? I didn't talk like that when I was 5. Oh no, that's old school. But again, if I pulled out your phone and went to your last song that you played, and don't be shy because I'll even say my last song was there was Venom by Eminem, which is absolutely his new album's off the charts, but it was actually new. That's the name of it. No One by Alicia Keys. That was my last song, so I'm throwing that out there to you, so you don't have to feel uncomfortable.
My last song that I played, you guys wouldn't know the artist. He's not that popular. He's popular for a genre, but
Okay.
it's "Take You Down" by Illenium.
Okay, I don't know that. Okay.
He's an electronic artist. He's been growing in popularity. He's kind of got, I mean, you could classify his music as dance if you really wanted to, but it's like a mixture between like pop and electronic. Like it's, I feel like it would appeal to a lot more people if a lot more people listen to it, if they give it a try. But a lot of people, because it's labeled under the electronic music, a lot of people stay away from it, I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah,
check it out though.
That's not a bad thing though. Sometimes you like to keep certain bands in your pocket and hope that no one ever finds you.
True. Everybody's saying he's becoming mainstream just because he's getting popular, which
it's. See, that's what they kind of said about Post Malone when he started out.
Yeah.
10 years ago, like Deadmau5, everyone just was like, all right.
Ghosts and stuff. That's a classic. Is that
all
so?
of a sudden he's in Need for Speed games and then his music sucks.
2 more questions before we let you go, Ryan. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
And I know that's a tough one.
No, not at all.
Okay. Like that? Okay.
Hands down, Hot Rod.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Why?
have you
I gotta
guys
ask.
seen
Oh yeah,
it?
I've seen it. Oh yeah. Why?
Because it 100% follows my stupid sense of humor, and my entire family can quote it from beginning to end. And
Wow.
So, yeah,
Okay. So you can record your own Hot Rod movie at home if you really want to,
if I
from
really
start
wanted
to finish.
Yeah, I've seen it roughly 50 times. I memorized the entire thing.
I like that. Okay, that's good. Justin, you're gonna end it off with another personal question. Make it good. I'm putting the pressure on you to
I'm
end it.
just going to kind of keep it semi-sports related here.
Okay, I like that.
The
last 4 minutes, it hasn't
NHL
really
team?
been.
Who's my
Okay.
NHL team?
And just a wild card. Give me 2 teams that are going to make the playoffs this year.
Oh, jeez.
Wild card in terms of like that don't expect to make it. Just 2 teams.
No, just 2 teams.
The finals or the playoffs.
They're going to make the playoffs.
Okay, I like that. To make the playoffs. So it was your favorite team and 2
And 2
teams that are for sure in the playoffs.
Okay. Well, for 2 teams, I'd have to say Vegas Golden Knights and the Washington Capitals again.
Okay, good choices. Very safe, good choices. Not a Toronto fan, are you? I don't think
No. I am. I like Toronto because, well, first of all, their head coach Mike Babcock came from Red Wings.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the Red Wings have gone downhill recently.
Rebuild time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they were my favorite team, especially when Babcock coached them. But within recent years, you know, especially last year, I really became a big fan of Vegas. I was hoping they would win the whole thing. But
my buddy Colin would have had the Stanley Cup here, right at the desk, right here with us. We were hoping that too.
But yeah.
That's your favorite team, Vegas?
As of right now, I'd say Vegas. Yeah.
Vegas. Like that. I like fans of Vegas. Yeah. I'm a fan of that. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't sold on Vegas.
Yeah.
When they had a team, nobody was. Like even when they got a team, I didn't think they'd have the fan support. Everyone doubted.
I was like your boy Sydney on the TV there, being Mr. Negative.
Yeah, you know what? We didn't mean to be negative. Is that we were just trying to say how would it work? If we're biased about not having a team in Quebec, especially because Quebec would be a rocket place to have one, we feel. But now even them considering Seattle over Quebec absolutely floors me. But we don't have to get. That's just another topic. Let's not even jump into that. We don't got that much time to do that. But I wanted to say, Ryan, thank you for coming by. The Game Sports Show is going to be at the John Rhodes Community Center and your games a lot this year doing post-game. I should say this first. Pre-game, then post-game, because pre-game comes first. So we'll be having you on the show more just to get some reaction and really connected with it. So you're going to see us again a lot more, and we'd love to have you on again in the near future as long as you love to come back on. Yeah, and I want to say thanks for coming on by here to the Northern Superior edition of the Game Sports Show.
Thank you very much, both of you, for allowing me to be on the show, and hopefully not deleting all my content.
No, oh no, you're gonna have the full zone's gonna be on there. The full Sky zone's gonna be on there. Oh, okay. I tried to bring that pun in there.
As long as I didn't swear too much, most of your stuff will be there.
No, good. Definitely want to say thanks again to Ryan for coming on by. Definitely have him on, and definitely Thunderbird players on throughout the entire season. Definitely looking forward to a big year for the Thunderbirds. Hopefully they can hoist that trophy over their head, as they've had that name of the Thunderbirds put on that trophy many a times. It's time to add one more. Absolutely. I like that. It'd definitely be great for you to win on your senior year. So I want to say thanks again to Ryan. Justin and I are going to be right back. We have some NHL to discuss and even some MLB news towards Josh Donaldson's trade. Definitely something to talk about on the Blue Jays perspective. So don't go anywhere. You're going to hear from our sponsors. We're going to pay a couple bills. Be right back.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Sports Center Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sports Center rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sports Center, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Check out our brand new website up and running now at thegamesportshow.com. There you can find past broadcasts of all our shows from the Wicked Sister in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Boston Pizza and Sports Center Bar and Grill in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. As well, you can find our brand new t-shirts available for just $25 a shirt. All sizes are available, and proceeds will go towards Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother, Big Sister of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Now you can purchase the shirt by emailing thegamesportshowssm@gmail.com. Please state the total amount of shirts and size needed. They have payment options available, e-transfer, or cash upon delivery, as a shirt can be delivered to your location if you live in the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Ontario area, free of charge. TheGameSportShow.com, where you find all your local, regional, and national sports that you just can't get enough of.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
Hi, I'm Brendan Brooks, professional hockey player. You're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, alongside Justin Hykel. And before we get into our next round of topics here in part 3 of the Game Sports Show, Northern Superior Brewing Company edition, how great of a speaker is Ryan Lawrence, Justin? My God.
You know what? That's a smart kid right there, and I got a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to say kid, he's a young man.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people, that, even in our friends' demographics, that aren't that well spoken, have that kind of perspective, or outlook on life. He's a good egg.
Yep.
And I hope he does good things.
Yep.
I wish him all the best. That's for sure.
You can tell with that ethic that he has off the ice that he has the same mindset on the ice. Good hockey player, a great athlete, great individual all around. Definitely well respected for himself.
Within 5 minutes of talking to him, I knew exactly why he has a letter on his jersey.
Yeah. Definitely the coaching staff and management knew what they were doing.
100%. Like a guy with a mindset like that, it makes it easy to build a team with him.
Yeah, definitely someone who's boys first, himself second is definitely an asset to the team. I want to say thanks to Ryan again for coming by. Fantastic job. Seems like you have been on radio before, my friend, or just, obviously in general, smart kid, but you're very comfortable. So definitely very happy that you came on tonight, and we'll definitely have you on more and more Thunderbirds players as the season goes on. Puck drop tomorrow, John Rhodes Community Center at 7:30 against the Soo Eagles. Don't miss it. Now, Justin, jumping into some topics. We're going to talk some NHL updates in terms of Tyler Seguin, Max Pacioretty, Seattle, Nate Schimidt, Blake Wheeler, the Toronto Maple Leafs a little bit. Then we're going to talk about Donaldson, and we're also going to talk about some of the Blue Jays before we close off. We only got about 15 minutes total in this last part, so we're going to jump right into it. And we're going to jump in right with the fire with the Tyler Seguin talks. And Seguin, definitely a name as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan that we know about.
Or do not know about.
Yeah, we only know about him because we traded the pick that ended up going to the Boston Bruins for him, but we did acquire Phil Kessel, which is your favorite hockey player, so I'm sure you're not too far against the trade. However, definitely Tyler Seguin, who has been a part of the Boston Bruins organization, now the Dallas Stars. The Boston Bruins have acquired nobody. After that trade with Phil Kessel, everyone is now not a part of that organization. They have received no value for Phil Kessel. So if you want to look at it that end, we'll make it a bright spot. But we'll just jump into Tyler Seguin. Contract talks. He does not have a contract going into training camp right now. They hope to get one done, as per NHL.com that said. But Tyler Seguin not having a contract, it's like what Biz Nasty said and what Ryan Whitney said on Spittin' Chicklets, and also with Barstool, that how that guy doesn't have a contract in place is absolutely absurd. He is one of, if not the top 10 centers in the National Hockey League, obviously. And sure, is money an issue? Maybe. But you got to think of it from the end of the Dallas Stars. You have to get a deal done with this guy.
It is and it isn't absurd. Because this is one of those things when we're looking at it from the media perspective only. And you don't know what it's like from player personality perspective. What has Dallas done since he's been there?
They haven't won a Stanley Cup.
They got a locker room full of guys that are character issue question marks. Thradulov.
Yes.
Not trying to discredit Jamie Benn's leadership by any way, shape, or form, but maybe Dallas doesn't see the value in giving him the money that he's asking, or going to ask, or presumably asking.
You got to think he's asking.
Him around.
He's asking north of 8. You got to think he's asking. He's the $10 million.
His numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
But numbers only carry you so far. Eventually, you run out of people that want to coach you.
He has been pointed for some character issues in the locker room.
Well, I mean, the things that stand out in my head, the Bruins didn't want you anymore. And the Bruins are a terrible organization full of classless human beings. And
wow, a little bit of love.
Terrible.
Not loving the boss.
Terrible.
Patrice Bergeron?
Garbage human beings there.
Okay.
And they're probably all Patriots fans, too, which makes them even worse.
A little bit of hostility towards the Bruins.
The only Boston sports figure that I even remotely respect is Boston Celtics' Kevin Garnett.
Anything's possible.
That's it. That is it. And shoe beating Mike Milbury.
Tyler Seguin stated that I'm disappointed it hasn't happened, but there hasn't been negotiations. It's just been training this summer, getting ready for this year. He said at a BioSteel camp in Toronto on the 28th of August. I've still got this last year in Dallas. Dallas is home. I'm looking forward to having a good year and definitely want to win. Now, he said there's been some dialogue now since the last time I talked to the media at the BioSteel camp, he said. I'm hopeful something good done in the next little while. So it seems that talks have picked up with them, but I imagine that there's a little bit of difference in terms of price. I'm guessing that Tyler Seguin has requested about the John Tavares numbers, around $11 million, and Dallas is probably not wanting to pay that much money, as Dallas probably feels that he's worth in between 9 and 10, and that $1 million does make a difference when it comes to negotiations. So
I'll tell you for free, Dallas is just going to flip him at the deadline.
If they're not doing well this year, that is definitely a possibility.
What they're going to do.
Definitely rare, though, someone at his age, though, to have a young player there like that, to get rid of that, to trade that.
Before this, the way hockey is right now, you can, based on poor financial management or poor coaching decisions or whatever, so you can't keep your players. You can't keep everyone happy. You can't sacrifice the future to keep a player happy currently that may not be there as part of the future.
See, the thing is with that, the Dallas Stars were 42, 32, and 8 last year, for 92 points. Finished 3 points behind Colorado for the second wildcard spot. Missing the playoffs for second straight season, third time in past 4. And Seguin thinks he's going into a Western Conference. He's in the Western Conference, but there's a Western Conference this year that is still pretty deep with teams. I feel that the East has surpassed the West and a little bit more in terms of talent on the ice or just the team fit. But Dallas Stars, they are still a couple players away before they can make that leap, to make that extra leap to be that team that could be in that playoff discussion. I still think Colorado is a playoff team over Dallas this year still.
I just don't know. There's not a whole lot on Dallas's roster that stands out to me and goes, wow, what a team. There's just not a whole lot there.
No.
To be completely honest, in my head, like if we're just spitballing nonsense right now, why don't Dallas and Montreal swap and see how it goes? Pacioretty ends up in Dallas
with a bit more, obviously.
Well,
I think,
100%, not just player for player.
No,
but and Seguin ends up in Montreal.
Makes sense.
And see, because the situation in Dallas is only going to get uncomfortable.
Yep.
And if the situation in Montreal has taught us anything, you should probably just pull the Band-Aid off. Get it over with, get it done.
Not a bad recommendation. What do you think, listeners? Do you think that'd be a good move with Dallas and Montreal becoming partners? Or what do you think? Seguin gets the deal done? I'm going to say he gets the deal done in Dallas, and Dallas does overpay. Not that that's exciting for media to talk about, but it just seems that that's going to be the realm it's going to go. Max Pacioretty contract talks quickly, because now they're jumping into Max Pacioretty. There are kind of a little bit not on the same page when it comes between Tyler Seguin, but Pacioretty did say he won't negotiate a contract with the Canadiens once the season begins. So the captain of the Montreal Canadiens has stated that he does not have an interest of signing a contract at this current point, which we've seen this old song and dance all the time. He's going to go to the deadline. Montreal's rebuilding mode. There's a guy that's going to get moved to the deadline. If not, the Montreal Canadiens are going to lose a player for nothing like the Islanders did with John Tavares. So, not saying Pacioretty is Tavares, because they're not, but at the end of the day, the Montreal Canadiens have to get something for nothing. That veers with every sport. I preached that with baseball with Donaldson. I preached that for like I said, baseball, basketball. I preached that hockey. I'm a fan of getting something for nothing. Pacioretty does not seem that he's going to re-sign in Montreal. If he does re-sign in Montreal, it's because Montreal is going to be paying him the highest. So Pacioretty is not near when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens, but the pending UFA is still unsure if he'll be with Montreal when training camp starts as well. There's another fun little thing now. That's just a little added paragraph there. He's unsure if he will be there. He's the captain. You better be there day one, or I'm stripping your C if I'm the coach. But NHL's a little bit different when it comes to kind of regulation hockey in terms of Sault Ste. Marie, it seems. But kind of rightfully so, I think NHL players and our friends and listeners of the show will agree that if you're the captain, you're there from day one, and your expressed interest is being with that team and no other team. Obviously, Max Pacioretty may have other plans, which, given so, makes sense because of the awkwardness that has happened. But hey, they're professionals. We don't know what's been happening behind closed doors. So Max Pacioretty, different direction. It seems like it's inevitable that the day that he might be potentially moved with the Montreal Canadiens. Much like our next thing we're going to jump into with Erik Karlsson, just very quickly, still not traded, still a part of this Ottawa Senators, and him not being traded is the biggest surprise. That I was guaranteeing that he'd be traded by August, but he's still in Ottawa, and I even think Ottawa's trying to throw him some money to stay there. I think that'd be a very fascinating situation if that happened, but for him to stay in Ottawa, definitely be very interesting. I can't see that happening in Ottawa. I can't see them not trading him also past the deadline. Definitely seems like it's going to be a very exciting NHL season when it comes to players re-signing, not signing, and potentially getting traded. Now, the next thing we're going to jump into quick, the Seattle. The building is near in Seattle, as it seems that in Seattle, it seems that's where it's going to be the next expansion team. They're closer to an arena deal in Seattle, and the NHL expansion vote is possible in December when it comes to Seattle. A lot of fascinating names have become on social media with Seattle, but it definitely seems that the NHL is going to go the Seattle route. It doesn't seem like the Quebec Nordiques are coming back to the NHL anytime soon, or any other Canadian team. It seems Seattle will be the next team coming into the National Hockey League, as you got to think that it'll be a unanimous vote, I feel, for the NHL to expand to one more team, as the success that they've had in Las Vegas and the fan reaction in general. Money, 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 revenue, revenue. It's a business. That's the big thing that we can't forget, even as sports fans. Your reaction quick with Seattle, Justin, before we go to our next topic.
I'm not the biggest fan of the whole situation, but again, like you said, it's money talks, and that's the way the league works these days. So if what their game plan is to develop a rival for the Vancouver Canucks, then Godspeed, I guess. And you know what? They're chasing maximum profit. So if you don't see that Quebec, you're going to maximize your investment, then I guess do the business thing. I honestly don't know, because it gets to a certain point, you know that it's not about fan interest, it's about making money. And if fans are interested, then cool. But it's just some big boys playing in a big boy sandbox.
I like that reference. You always have some good, decent references.
It's just the way it is.
Seattle, it's money. It's revenue.
That's all it is.
It is. And I know being big sports fans, we'd like to see another team in Canada, but the revenue perspective. Next topic, Nate Schimidt suspended 20 games for performance enhancement drugs. His comment kind of stated how he wasn't sure if it was in a substance that he was taking. End of the day, he is being suspended. 20 games seems a little bit light, so it must have been nothing too serious, but still with performance enhancements definitely taken very seriously. But a lot of things have that in ingredients. There's a lot of things I'm taking benefit of the doubt with Nate Schimidt, because he's been a great hockey player in Vegas and has turned his career around. Hopefully this performance enhancements have nothing to do with it, and hopefully this isn't a distraction for him going forward, as he has really had a good turnaround in his career in terms of making a name for himself, when it comes to players that are not expected to be the kind of talent that Nate's developed into. It's definitely a great success story, so hopefully this can be put behind him. But he'll miss the first 20 games with Vegas, and that is a big loss on the back end with Las Vegas, as he was a big part of their season last year, especially on the special teams end. Blake Wheeler signed a nice, pretty contract. Friend, listener of the show, Blake Wheeler. Paul Maurice. Blake Wheeler. I don't know. Maybe Blake Wheeler has listened because he listened with Paul Maurice being on. But I mean, friend and listener of the show, Paul Maurice. One of his favorite weapons. He didn't say that on the show, but he talked very highly about his captain with Blake Wheeler. Loved his leadership, his skills, and obviously being an all-star and one of the top wingers of the National Hockey League. He can also play center. He signed a 5-year deal, cap it of $8.25, $41.25 million. I think that this actually doesn't put Winnipeg in too bad of a constraint. James Van Riemsdyk signed for $7 million. Blake Wheeler signed for $8.25. It's $1.25 more, yes, but I would rather Blake Wheeler than JVR any day of the week in terms of the providing of leadership, two-way style, and just a player in general. Blake Wheeler I'm using JVR as an example because the money for players are being thrown around. This will be a bargain for the Winnipeg Jets going forward if his performance continues to ascend in that direction. And he is one of the top players in the National Hockey League. I would arguably throw him in to the top 50 players in the National Hockey League guaranteed, if not even the top 25. Blake Wheeler, and the Winnipeg Jets, a lot of fans are putting down the Jets, think they're not going to be that successful this year. But you know what? You fans are completely wrong. The Jets are still very fine. Like I said, there's a very stupid reaction. Just because they lost Paul Stastny and Joel Armia doesn't mean that they're going to lose. Joel Armia is not a huge loss. Paul Stastny was big on that line with Laine and Ehlers, but you know what? They will find replacements. They have a lot of young guys in that system. And as Paul said, he's very excited for the future of the Jets, as we are here on the Game Sports Show, because I would love to see a Jets-Leafs final. That would just be great for the show, first off, because the access we'd have there. But at the end of the day, with the Jets, don't count them out. You're absolutely foolish if you do. Don't you agree, Justin?
I don't know why you'd count out the Jets.
Like, stupid. Yes. Moving on from that, last NHL topic that we're going to jump into, Leafs feeling the heat of expectation, as I said on the NHL site as well. I took a couple articles from the NHL that I wanted to take. Obviously, we could discuss the Winter Classic between the Bruins and the Hawks, but we'll do that as the season goes on, as the Notre Dame Stadium. I don't know why I said that in French. I apologize, Notre Dame Stadium. I think that's probably what they would rather hear. But jumping back to what I was going to talk about there with the Leafs feeling expectations, Maple Leafs are seen from opposing players as top contenders. That's what the NHL is more so leaning towards. But the players as well probably feel the heat of expectation this year. With Anderson, Tavares must feel that. Justin, what do you think the Leafs players going into this year? Do you think it's business as usual, or are they feeling that heat of expectation now to go over the top and go past the first round at least?
I think it's business as usual because you got to make it to the playoffs. You got to get there first, and then once you get to the playoffs, then you know that it's an elevated level of expectations. But right now, you just got to punch the clock every day, go out there, win the games, finish the season the best you can. Hopefully, get some home ice advantage going into the playoffs and see where we're at come April. But right now, I think it's business as usual. I don't necessarily know that they need any extra pressure on their shoulders. I think they're putting it on themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's what Austin Matthews, I don't think he's feeling any kind of pressure. He's very business as usual. I think Tavares might be kind of like, hey, this is different than what it is on Long Island. But a person who might be feeling a lot of pressure, maybe Frederik Andersen, because, he had a great year last year, a lot of shots. If we can perform to that level again this year. Jake Gardiner, let's get real. He is feeling the pressure because of all the fan reaction. And maybe the biggest player is feeling the pressure, Nikita Zaitsev. The guy had the worst sophomore season I've almost seen, and he's not even in his early 20s, in his mid-20s. So he needs to turn around this season quick, and they've already improved because they don't have Roman Polak on the back end anymore. So I've always been preaching sign defense, trade for defense. Hopefully it does happen. It definitely seems like this is the team that they are going to be bringing onto the ice this year. But at the end of the day, Toronto is probably feeling expectation, I feel, because of this signing with Tavares, some maneuvers with the organization, and as they plan to move on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. What do you think? Toronto Maple Leafs, are they going past the first round? Are they winning the Cup? Are they winning the conference finals? What do you think with Toronto? Listeners, I'd like to hear your reactions. With going with Detroit quick, you guys, especially with our Michigan listeners, the Detroit Red Wings are on the side of rebuilding, and the fans in Detroit, should have no shame in that, because it's going to be very quick retooling, I believe, there in Detroit. There's some good young pieces with the Detroit Red Wings. I don't see them playing in the playoffs this year. I see them maybe moving some guys out, not Zetterberg this year. I'm sure they're going to try to move out Jimmy Howard when they can. I'm sure they're going to try to move out some of the veteran guys that are in that locker room, acquire some draft picks. I feel that they had a great draft with Zadina. Bringing in Zadina is a great move. The organization taking steps forward. Detroit, though, will definitely be an organization that's going to be in that retooling/rebuild year for a couple years. Then they'll be back in the playoffs, in my opinion. And still trust in Ken Holland. The guy is an absolute legend and even a better person. Now, moving on from hockey, Justin, a topic I want to jump into quick because we only have a couple more minutes, as we both do have to depart here. We are starting to go a little bit over time. So quickly, Josh Donaldson reaction with the trade. Finally, last week at August 30th from Silver Creek, myself and special guest Mark Orlando, whom was there talking golf, ended up staying to talk baseball as well. We talked about getting something for nothing. Donaldson did go to the Cleveland Indians from the Toronto Blue Jays. He is playing in AAA right now. Hit a grand slam actually the other night for the Columbus team. That's Cleveland's minor team with AAA. The player to be named later apparently has been chosen already. It just hasn't been announced in the trade. Usually with a lot of players. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors about who it may be. I was hoping they would make it a performance-based player to be named later if it was a top level or mid-level, but I know that's a lot of iffy things when it comes to doing a trade with that. So I believe the player will be announced maybe more so towards the end of the year. But Donaldson, nothing but respect for the guy. The guy put his heart and soul in Toronto. I know this year apparently they offered him a contract. I don't say I believe in that, though. I know he wanted to stay in Toronto, but he also wants to win. He put his heart and soul there in Toronto. Fans should give him a positive reaction. I know Cleveland is actually in Toronto right now, but Donaldson isn't. He's with Columbus right now, so it seems that Donaldson will not be returning to the Rogers Center this year at all unless he pops up somehow within the series with Cleveland. But Josh Donaldson win the MVP. The only second player to do so. The records that he has in Blue Jays history, the Blue Jays fans should be happy that he was a part of the organization, but we should start to look forward.
I mean, you just got to move on. He's not on the team anymore. He really wasn't all year. So you just drop it and move on. I don't really know what a lot of these people were expecting in terms of trade return for a guy that hasn't played all year. It's great that you won an MVP, but that's happened. It's in the past. This isn't, you don't, it's frustrating because people base value on things that have previously happened and not, potential going forward. He hasn't played all year. He doesn't have the potential to help a lot this year moving forward. So he's essentially a rough prospect moving into next year for Cleveland.
Yep. And I think Cleveland is going to have a chance to sign Josh Donaldson every time. I know the cap is a little bit iffy there because of their loaded infield now.
But his lack in playing makes his cap substantially more affordable.
Yep. And the money he's going to get for, I think he's probably wanting a bit more than what he's bargaining for. But with Lindor and playing short, you have Ramirez, who is going to move over to second. Cleveland denies that, but that's what's going to happen. Donaldson at first, Yolanda and Alonso at first, Kipnis moving to the outfield. Cleveland has a deadly infield already, but adding Josh Donaldson, I feel this year, a lot of people have been saying, he's never really that injured. Yeah, he's never been really injured, but at the end of the day, you can't chirp Josh Donaldson. You know what, this year has been kind of a season for the Jays to really admire the young prospects they want to start bringing up. And speaking of those young prospects, they're playing a lot of young guys, Toles, Goviello, there's a lot of young guys playing well with the Blue Jays. Watch and enjoy this. Because now moving out Donaldson and moving out some of these older guys, we're bringing some younger talent. Hopefully they develop, but at the end of the day, the young guys get to play for the Toronto Blue Jays. And ultimately, Justin, he won the MVP in Toronto. He was a fan favorite. He did a fantastic job in Toronto. No hard feelings. Hope he goes to Cleveland, and I hope he puts Cleveland over the top. And I actually would love to see him win a ring. You agree?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you got to take the same approach. The fans have to take the same approach as you took with Batista.
Yeah.
He's gone, move on.
Yeah.
And you wish him all the best. You don't want to have any sort of ill wishes towards anyone that did great things for your team.
Yeah.
And you got to think about it, Toronto fans. At one point, Doug Gilmour played for the Habs. So you can always move on. You can forgive. You can forget. Drop it and move forward. Worry about the team you got right now. Don't worry about Josh Donaldson in AAA Tulsa or wherever the hell he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's move forward and be happy for what he did because he provided a lot of excitement. Bringer of rain, MVP chance, absolutely amazing. Thanks to Josh Donaldson. Very exciting. And the big news is Vlad Jr. will not be coming up the rest of this year. It won't be till maybe next year, which actually I think is a good move by the organization. But the young guys that are there now, definitely we should be appreciating. Justin, we are going to go into our conclusion side here. I know we both have to go. Me, more so my baseball got canceled. The finals, the Renegades automatically go into the finals for baseball on Tuesday with the Slugs forfeiting tonight against us. So we do not play until Tuesday, but we still practice. You yourself have touched football. Still lots going on. But in terms of radio agenda, we'll be at the Wicked Sister on Monday, September the 10th. Myself, Scott Nason, AJ Russell, and Butch Davis. Katie Woolen will be there. Next Wednesday, myself, Jamie, and Matt will be there. Hopefully Justin and Dustin can be there as well for Sports Center. Next Thursday, we will be here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. And we also plan to do a Silver Creek edition potentially next week or going into the following week. We do not start our T-Bird coverage this weekend or the next weekend live at the John Rhodes or anything. That is going to be more so towards the end of the month. We're just working out everything there in terms of getting a setup there and everything for that. So you will see us at Thunderbird games as well as the season goes forward. So keep an eye on that as well. Make sure you follow the show on thegamesportshow.podbean.com. And wanted to say, Justin, thanks for coming on by.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
you're a frequent customer. I don't even know why I got to say thank you to you every time. I want to say thanks to Scott Nason, our board operator. I want to say thanks to Blake Winter, Trevor Zachary, and the staff here at Northern Superior Brewing Company for great hospitality as always. I want to say thanks to Ryan Lawrence for coming on by. And also want to say thanks to all of our sponsors and to obviously you, the listeners, for making us a part of your day and being a part of our family. Now, listeners, until next time, which will be Monday, but until next time, keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.